It's been such a long time, but I want to say I'm back, but I don't really want to say I'm back because I don't want you guys to hold me accountable for anything. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. I am Jamera. It's been a long time since I have been on YouTube, but I wanted to post an update about where I am now and what changes I've made and what I'm looking forward to in terms of YouTube and I suppose life in general. In this video, I wanted to discuss where I am, what I've been doing, and why I left Japan. So let's get into the first thing. I am no longer living in Japan, and the last thing I posted about were the expectations of and realities of living in Japan. Now, okay, so while I think that my time in Japan was really unique and I think it was such a great experience, and I absolutely encourage anyone to live abroad at least for 1 year, at least for 6 months, 3 weeks, whatever. I think it's important that anyone have the experience living and working and existing in a country that is not their home country. I think the first thing was I didn't really like Japan or love Japan. And for me, I really want to be, if I'm going to be in any place for a long time, I need to be able to love it. I need to be able to look at something and be like, if someone says, oh, why do you like this place? I can like gush about it and be like, even if there are problems, I can be like, I really just love this place and I'm really willing to make it work. I didn't feel like that in Japan. For one, I always knew that being in Japan, I was going to be I was only going to be there for temporary. I wasn't going to make Japan a long-term thing. I mean, I was open to it, but I didn't see myself being in Japan long-term. I didn't see myself having much opportunity to grow in Japan, even before I had lived there. And I was right. So, to grow in Japan in terms of work, in terms of like professional and also in terms of personal development, I didn't see much opportunity for growth there. For one, most of the time it's really the most any expat can do in terms of working in Japan. A lot of it is just teaching, and I didn't enjoy teaching, and that's on me, that's fine. But I didn't enjoy teaching, so I already knew that even if I didn't like my current job, the only things, or the most majority of the time, if I was searching for work and I would say, oh hey, I'm interested in finding someplace else, the only thing that would come up were teaching jobs, and I wasn't okay with that. And of course, if you were interested in growing and getting into other industry, you had to learn Japanese, which is fine. I'm not gonna be that person that says, oh no, I don't want to learn Japanese and I'm in Japan, I'm living in Japan, it should all be English. No, I absolutely understand that you need to be able to speak and understand Japanese if you're going to be working in a professional environment, if you're going to be moving in different industries. Your Japanese needs to be on point. But like I said, I didn't anticipate staying in Japan for a long term, so I didn't really want to invest the money and the time, all that stuff, to learn Japanese, to then move into a different industry. I didn't want to do that. So that was one of the reasons why I left. Another thing is, even if I was able to switch industries, and let's say I knew some Japanese and I decided to switch industries, the work culture in Japan is even more of a stressor than in New York, where I was coming from. So I didn't want to, like, I had already left New York for like and wanting to escape that whole sort of toxic work culture where there was no work-life balance, and surprisingly ended up in Japan, only to realize that there really is like the work life balance in Japan is even less than in New York. So I just didn't, or in Tokyo, because I was living in Tokyo, so it's probably different in the countryside, but I did not want to move industries and then have so much anxiety and so much of that like bad energy around me. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to leave Japan. Another thing was that it was so expensive to travel within Japan. The cost, um, just to even get to Japan, just to even get into like central Tokyo was like $20 round trip. Well, not $20, but like 2,000 yen round trip. And while I appreciate Japan's efficiency and public transportation, all of that is amazing, for the low amount that I was making as as a language teacher, it just wasn't enjoyable. And I'm one of like, to my core, someone who loves exploring and wandering and just getting out. And a lot of times I found myself in Japan just being home because I didn't have the money to do these things, and I didn't yeah, I just didn't have the funds to do it. So I would just be at home, being sitting on YouTube. I would maybe go for a walk, but where I was, you needed money to get on public transit. Like, even if you didn't plan on spending money to like eat, when you spending money to eat or spending money to do an activity, you still needed that money to take public transit to get out. And if you didn't have that money to do that, then you were essentially stuck, wandering around rice fields. So that wasn't okay for me, and I really needed to be, I really felt that that impacted um, my experience, and I didn't want my life in Japan to be played like that. So I just was not all right with that. Um, I feel like those are like essentially three reasons. I mean, I mentioned my pay was low. I didn't really like living in Japan. It was really expensive to move around. Um, Lack of opportunities. And yeah, there are like four reasons, but I feel like those are really, really big reasons for me when it comes to living and existing in a space. I need to be able to like it. I need to be able to say, oh, if I don't like my job, be able to say, okay, I'm going to make this change, look for another job, and then transition into that new change. I don't want to be stuck. So that was my reason. So now I left Japan in March 2017. I finished my contract. I was really happy to leave, but now that I'm back, I'm saying, oh, I have a much greater appreciation now that I'm back, and I'm saying, oh, I'm thinking back on other things that I did in Japan and all the opportunities I had, and yeah, I definitely feel like I would love to go back and visit, which at first, when I was first leaving, I was like, good riddance. But now that I'm back here, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about this, and oh, I really wish I could have done that, and I really wish I could have seen some more places in Kyoto. But I think I'm happy to have this perspective now, to see, visit wherever I plan on moving to, and then make that move instead of just blindly just jumping in and moving to Japan. Right, so now I am back in the States. I moved from New York to Philadelphia in June, and that was definitely a whirlwind. And I'm still honestly trying to land a permanent, not permanent, but a full-time, a more stable job. I'd really like to set up a base in America so that I can do more traveling. But honestly, the job hunt is so ridiculous, and I think it may just be my location and the industry that I'm in, but I'm doing a lot of things and I'm learning a lot of new skills that I feel will make me stand out. Oh, I feel like there was something wrong. There was no one right there. That I feel will make me stand out. I'm also considering a lot of different things. I'm going to be 25 this year, and I'm literally going through a quarter life crisis, but I am dedicated to making sure that I am living my best life, and I think everyone should be. But I know I'm dedicated to making sure that I live my best life, and I am happy. I am fulfilled. I am always learning and pushing myself. I think the last one is the most scary, the whole pushing myself, being comfortable bit, because I like comfort. And you know, people don't always want to be, I don't enjoy the, like, no one enjoys the feeling of being uncomfortable, but I am getting into the groove of discomfort, because it means that I'm growing, and it means that I am pushing myself into new territories. So that's my update. That's where I am. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I would like to, I'm interested in talking about loneliness in your 20s, because I have been experiencing loneliness, and it's been difficult to navigate that space, as I am an introvert and I am someone who enjoys being alone, but I am feeling a larger sense of loneliness since I've been in Japan, since I've been back in America. So I would like to do a video on that. So yeah, comment below, like this video if you would also like to have that discussion, because I think that's important. And I will catch you next time. Bye.